for the sole purpose of having something to leave behind.
What of it? I asked you a question. What did they say?
Why should I tell you?
I was your girl once, Harvey. That carries certain obligations.
All right, you got a chance. It's between you and Vera Franklin. They're gonna let Mrs. Roberts decide. She has a lot of dough in the show, and she'll be here Tuesday.
Thanks, Harvey. Oh, and Harvey, what about you? Did you like my reading?
You were okay.
Okay. Is that the best you could say? They did ask your opinion.
Sure. And I had a small chance to knife you in the back, but I did it.
That was very wise, because I'm going to get this part now.
I wouldn't count on it. You can't influence a woman like Mrs. Roberts. She's a very honest person.
Oh, Mrs. Roberts is going to choose me. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Mrs. Roberts.
Where did you spring from?
New York. I have a taxi waiting to bring me back to the station.
I suppose you're anxious to find out how you did on your reading. You did well. Lloyd was pleased.
I understand the part is between me and Vera Franklin.
So I understand. Lloyd says you two are unquestionably the best, so you have a chance.
I must have more than a chance.
Eve, I know what this part means to you, and I'd like to see you get it, but I must be frank. If I think you're the best, I shall say so. If I think the Franklin girl is more suitable for the part, I must tell the truth. Don't be depressed if you don't get this. Something else will come along.
No, Mrs. Roberts. Parts like horror aren't written every year. I can't afford to let this opportunity slip through my fingers.
Eve, if it's your destiny to become a success, you will be, but one can't control such things. I've gotten you the reading. Obviously you did well or you wouldn't be called back. The rest is in the lap of the gods.
No, Mrs. Roberts, not this time. The gods don't enter into it. I understand the decision is solely in your lap.
You seem well informed.
I make it my business to be Mrs. Roberts. You see, a lot could happen at that audition tomorrow. For instance, I might be nervous knowing how much depends on it and not do as well as I did on Thursday. Or I might be tired and not perform at my best. In either case, I can't afford to leave such things to fate. I must know in advance that you'll choose me.
Well, that would hardly be fair to Vera Franklin, would it? I told you before, I must be impartial. I must be honest.
Honest, Mrs. Roberts?
Yes, honest, Eve. You've got to get it through your head. I cannot guarantee that you're going to get this part.
Since you're so determined to be honest, Mrs. Roberts, may I speak plainly?
Go ahead. This is interesting.
Your friendship with Miss Crane means a great deal to you, doesn't it?
So?
I wonder how she would react if she found out that you deliberately missed her performance that evening. Why, even your own husband was annoyed with you for doing so. Imagine how much more angry Miss Crane would be. She's always wondered how I've managed to get the press there in time. It wouldn't be too difficult to convince her that it was a prearranged stunt if I told her that I called him in the morning.
Eve, this is blackmail.
You could call it whatever you like, Mrs. Roberts. It doesn't disturb me in the least. Oh, and then there is another point. What about Mr. Howell? How would he behave if he too found out the truth? Shall I tell you? I bet it would cause a real break between the four of you. Why, he might be so disgusted that he decides to call off doing your husband's play altogether. That would be a real shame now, wouldn't it?
You would ruin the whole production because you couldn't get the part?
I wouldn't hesitate for a moment. Now, Mrs. Roberts, do I get the part, or do I go straight from here to Miss Crane's apartment?
What if they don't listen to me? What if I say I think you're the best and they still pick Vera Franklin? I can't put a gun to their heads.
If in spite of what you advise, they still choose her, then I suggest you go to your husband. Tell him the truth. Tell him what I've threatened to do. He'll change his mind and choose me. Besides, I have a feeling he liked my reading best anyway.
I can't do that. I've already lied to him and told him that you didn't know you were going on for Margot that night. He'd never forgive me.
Then it's all the more up to you to convince him now, isn't it? They're undecided. They're in the mood to have their minds made up for them. Men are puppets, Mrs. Roberts. Just pull the strings. You've done it aptly before. Don't underestimate yourself. Now, what's your answer?
So be it, Eve. If you can keep your mouth shut, I'll do what I can to get you the part.
I knew you'd see it my way. I'm sorry I can't stay for lunch. I'd like to go home and work on the part. And here, be careful with these. I wouldn't want you to cut your own throat before tomorrow.